Evening all, welcome to Deadlight. Playing a bit of Deadlight. This is a fantastic game. It's actually on the Steam sale store at the moment. And I think it's one of these kind of rare games that I think just appealed to me because it looks obviously quite atmospheric. I mean, I don't know what this thing about sharks is, but it looks, you know, it's got a nice atmospheric feel to it. And basically it's a platformer. Don't switch off, please don't switch off. I know, seriously, if you remember the days of Rick Dangerous and things like that, my god. This is probably the next generation of platformers, and I'd say this is probably the best one I've ever played. It's very Another World, Prince of Persia, you know, even a little bit Lara Croft, that kind of thing. It's good, so stick with it. The story is you're basically this dude, and I mean, you could do with a shave, but you're basically, you know, and he's 31. He's 31. Yeah, seriously, that's a spoiler. He's 31. He's not looked after himself, let's say. Basically, he's just killed her twin sister. And, oh god, it sounds like a soap, doesn't it? Oh, and he said this, and I'll tell you that. Basically, this is a little survival group. They're in the 1980s. Absolutely no reason whatsoever. There's no purpose set in the 1980s, none whatsoever. And maybe they just had a really good animation for the tape playing, maybe. I just thought. But as it stands, you're basically a survivor. And as you can see, there's a few of them left, and it's all about basically getting out to the military base. So, you know, kind of scene set. And naturally with these things, if you've seen things like 28 Days Later, or if you've seen, you know, any zombie movie ever, or even any horror movie ever, or in fact any movie ever, that ladder's about to break. There we go. And our protagonist is now left, quote, solo. So a little bit Half-Life 2 that, but so there we go. He tosses the gun up, and he's pretty much on his own. And we're back to cue pretty much where the game begins. Now, again, I wouldn't necessarily kind of just do any video of anything. Trust me. What I loved about this game was, you know, I kind of watched up to this point, and I'm thinking, this better be good, and it is. And what you're about to see, I hope you'll agree, was actually quite a refreshing change from the norm. This game, just very quickly, is actually from Xbox Live. Again, don't switch off, not yet. It's something that I think started life on another platform, so there's obviously lots of X buttons and shit like that. Do not let your PC gaming master race mentality stop you from watching this or playing this game, because, you know, I think it cost me $5, I think, on the Steam sale. And is it worth it? My god, yes it is. I've had already a massive amount of fun from this, and as you can see, there's a number of different mechanics, and basically the way the game works is you kind of do different things. But look at that. I mean that's cool, don't you? I think that's really nice. And, you know, you basically as zombie and, you know, zombie horde, zombie infestation, and you've got to basically get the hell out. So already I know that there's something not quite right with those wooden bits there, but look at the depth. And again, this is using the Unreal Engine. That's the same engine as Dust. So look, it is possible to get stuff looking pretty on that engine. And I think already I'm quite impressed, just with things like the animations, the characters, and that. It's very good. And there is a nice backstory to this as well. It's probably worth mentioning again. I think it's funny, I always treat games a little bit like books. You buy a book, you may not know anything about the book, you may not know a thing, you've no idea what the story is, but you know that you're probably going to enjoy the content. And I think this is very much how I procure games. I basically will find something that I think is, you know, potentially going to be quite interesting. And the Steam style is actually brilliant. This is really a good. I don't know if you don't follow this. If you're not a PC gamer, then you'll have no idea what I'm on about. But the Xbox or the PS store, they will all have regular sales on, and I would highly recommend you do check them out, because it is quite impressive what you can purchase for basically very little money. And I think this game usually retails about £20, and I got it for $5, as I say. And I think already have I been, you know, you entertain yourself to a standard based upon the price that you pay. And it's funny because, I mean, I may have spoken about this before. Hollywood and generally the way that entertainment is priced is usually upon the level of a theatre ticket. So a theatre ticket costs you, what, $10, and that should entertain you for 2 hours. So that's pretty much it. That's it. That's your, so, you know, $5 an hour, or I think in the UK it's probably a bit more actually, but it's that kind of calculation. And I think if you buy a book, that's what, $5. you know, or 10 bucks maybe, and that should entertain you for quite a lot. If you buy a video or a DVD, who buys videos anymore? If you buy a DVD or Blu-ray, then that entertains you for a similar amount of time, but obviously less. And I think games like this, again, you know, you're paying. I mean, a lot of people don't see the point of paying for this sort of, you know, snippet games like this, but I think it's worth it. And you know, this basically costs £5, and it's probably entertained me already for a couple of days now. It's a pretty long game. There's quite a lot in here. I mean, this is literally only the first level, and I'm probably not selling it terribly well with this level as well, because this is just learning the basics. Basically, you can parkour. As you know, you're a kind of shifting bugger, and basically what you can do with this is, oh, that was close. Oh god, there we go. So basically, it's like that. So the whole game is pretty much centered around platforming, naturally, as you should admit. But there is guns, there's axes, there's tactics, there's story. There's intrigue, and again, you know, most games are pretty terrible stories lately. It does seem, I don't know if you know Graham Linehan. He's written Father Ted and the IT Crowd. I think they're pretty popular in America now as well. But he's very, very popular comedy writer, and he made a very good point in a I think it was an interview where he said he doesn't feel that most because he's a big gamer, he says he doesn't feel that most gaming writers have ever read a book, because all they do is to watch films now. So if you watch things like Grand Theft Auto 3 and 2, 3 particularly, what was the one, Vice City, they'd just literally watched Scarface 20 times, and they'd just mimicked Scarface. Whereas if they'd have read the book, or they'd read other books like, you know, The Godfather or whatever it may be, then it would have been a very different film, or a game rather. So I think that is pretty true of a lot of modern games, in that, you know, you can tell quality writing of the story because there is a much higher level of believability. And I think this game's certainly one of them. I was surprised actually how well knitted together the story is. There's a massive kind of extra back piece as well. So this guy writes a diary, and the diary goes from way before this whole thing started. In fact, there you go. So this whole, you know, diary is fantastic because it's actually 60 odd pages long, and it's a bit of a mini book, and it's nice because again it does build depth. And I think too many games nowadays are very, you know, two-dimensional, as in they could be very pretty capable, you know, scale and scope kind of games, but they don't have depth, that thing that keeps bringing you back, like Half-Life had, or, you know, Call of Duty to a degree. Maybe the first Modern Warfare game, that had depth. But after that, it all started to become a bit mustachioed SAS man trying to, you know, knife people in the balls. It just stopped. It stopped having any believability after a while. That's when I think it started to, you know, tail off. And that's where I think, you know, things like this, you know, then they are worthy of consideration. I think sometimes it's always good to just be entertained. It's a pretty easy platformer, not terribly easy, but easy enough, let's say. And I think that in itself isn't a bad thing, because you're basically enjoying an experience. You're not paying. I mean, again, this whole sandbox discussion is, I was talking with Eddie Rio. We just had a few rounds of dust, and we were really talking about this, where Minecraft and StarMade, and these are all games which are sandboxes, where there isn't a story. There isn't any story, in fact. You make your own. But with the absence of that, when there is no, you know, effectively narrative throughout the whole game, what you effectively get is a very two-dimensional experience. Now, again, it does rely. So if you go to some servers for Minecraft, they'll have an incredible story for you, and, you know, it's all very impressive, but it's created for you. And I think, you know, these kind of games, you're on a roller coaster. So it's a very engineered and structured story for you. But there's nothing wrong with that. It's like Call of Pripyat Stalker. I don't know if you ever played Stalker. Probably one of the finest games I think I've ever played, because the story was good. It had a real good, you know, narrative behind it of, you know, all hell has gone basically loose in this zone. Half-Life 2 another example. Great story. Yet with very little depth, but the reality was it was a good story. Scope, but a fair bit of depth. So these are all kind of interesting kind of things that I think make games like this quite viable. I think also around the kind of stylization of it as well. I mean, you've got a very pretty game. It's really well put together. As you can see, you know, just simple mechanics, very Prince of Persia style. I mean, if you ever played Another World, this really reminded me of Another World, which I've got to admit I loved. I must have played that game crazily amount. And I think it's that again, but another great example of a fantastic story really being played out. In fact, I think people are very forgiving of very kind of linear or standard gameplay if there is actually a very good story behind it. Now, again, it's less than it was because I think lately, there we go, Deadlight. I think there's a lot less forgiving because people want that scale and scope and freedom of play. People are very critical lately of games that are less, or rather too structured. So rail shooters and anything that's kind of very conditioned, people seem to have a major stress about now, which I kind of do agree with. I think there should always be something that you can dictate or control, so that it shouldn't just be one option all the way through. It should be two. But again, it's not the end of the world if that's what you end up getting. Tricky one, really. I think games like this they have their place, and I would I think don't disregard it just because it's a platformer. Admittedly, it's taken me 11 minutes to tell you that. I think it's still pretty good, and it's tough as well. Look at this. Basically, I'm actually not sure what to do. This isn't going well, so I'm just going to run past the dude, jump over him, and then climb up. Thankfully, once you become infected, you can no longer remember how to climb over things, so that's obviously a good thing. Lots to collect. Again, I think it's one of these games that does keep you coming back to just keep kind of seeing what's out there. Sal's Junkyard. Oh yeah, so I think it's good. I think again it's always nice to have a bit of a physics demo as well. It's always pretty cool. So here we go. We've now got a weapon. So this weapon is the beginning of some of the weapons you get. You get an axe basically. It's embedded in someone's cranium. Oh my god, look at that. Nasty. And again, I'm just completely blown away at the modelling. I think the way they do models nowadays is they actually do motion capture, and it's looking good, isn't it? I've got to admit, I'm actually quite impressed with how this works. Again, I'm just completely still getting used to a lot of the mechanics here. It's like you can literally parkour, but thank God for that little white triangle that keeps appearing. Should I worry about that? That's not normal. A white triangle keeps appearing. Oh, well, never mind. So we go, call the dudes over, and then basically, oh yeah, some of that sun. Uh-oh. Now, they don't seem to be dying. Let's keep hitting them, maybe. Boosh! Oh, getting tired. Oh, it's a heavy axe, right? I think we should just run away, actually. Let's just run away. No, yeah, let's run away. Oh, knackered. All this zombie smacking. Takes it out of you. Oh, finish him. Oh, God, I keep going up. Flip. Okay, let's just run away. This is it. I think that's quite endemic of pretty much most zombie games. Just run the hell away, I think, is actually the best option. Oh, here we go. So, okay. What's wrong with it? I'm getting tired. Oh, man. Love the stamina system in this. We've got one more hit, though, and I'm in trouble. And again, it's not really hit-based. I pretty much will just be taken down by a zombie if they get me. So, I like that. I think that's pretty well done. Oh, okay. Now it's starting to come towards me. Let's just do the obvious. Boosh. And not going well. Not going well. Oh, God. No. Right. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Owned. Oh, no. One survived. Oh, there's another one. Bugger. Oh, well. So, I like that. I think that's some good use of... Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. No, this is not going to end well, is it? Get away from me. Flipping zombies. Right. I'm not sure what to do. No, this isn't going to end well. Let's just try and take his head off. Oh, fucking hell. Miss it. Oh, come on. Oh, my God. It's knackering swinging this axe. How do lumberjacks do it? Literally, how do they do it? Alright, I think that guy's dead. I don't think I got the ability to take them all on, so I'm just going to run for it, I think. They can't even jump over a car. What the hell? No, that's not going to work, is it? Need to be careful. I don't want to chop my leg off, which is probably what will happen if I keep doing this. No. Oh, come on. No, it's just not liking it, is it? Oh, I love that. You see that one-handed. Nice. Anyway, so let's talk more about this. I think it did start life on Xbox as well, which is actually quite funny considering. It's rare that you get a port from Xbox to PC. As you know, that's quite a testament to maybe how good the game is. Actually, I think it's probably worth considering that. Again, I think games like this, they are, I think, distractions. I mean, again, I keep referencing Another World. I think there's a few more like it that they're not really full games, to be honest with you. They're very kind of, singular in what you can actually do with them. I think Dear Esther was one like that. I did play Dear Esther, and I actually finished it, but I never uploaded part 3. Mainly because no one seemed to give a shit, which is a shame, because it was one of those, and again, I'm all about experiences. I like loading or playing games that have an experience behind them. So Dear Esther was a great one, because you had no idea what the hell is that? That's a funky picture. You had no idea what that person was doing on that island. Was it a metaphor? Was it him? Was the island him? I mean, it was just, it just started to make me wonder what the lighthouse was if the island was a man. It was a bit freaky, I've got to admit. A few points I literally sat there thinking, what the fuck? But that's a good thing. I think, it's always good if a game kind of, excites you to a degree where you become involved and really be part of a story. Excuse me. And I think this is one of them. I think you'll not go too far wrong. I think if you purchase this one, if you like your platformers, or if you like something maybe a bit different. Again, we were talking about this as well in Gang. There's not really a great deal of stuff out there that's totally different. It all feels very similar. Thinking of just anything, any genre, pick any genre, and you'll see that there's pretty much 1 or 2 games that directly influence the entire zeitgeist of that. Of game production, because it does feel that everything's based around Minecraft. So StarMade and anything. I mean, if you look on YouTube now, Minecraft must be. I mean, there must be more Minecraft, I think, on there than cats, and that's saying something, because seriously, cats are everywhere, and cats are awesome. But I think there's that kind of thing. So Minecraft pretty much dominates that. World of Warcraft and Rift and all of that kind of stuff dominates, I guess, that genre as well. So it's difficult to kind of find a game that is actually not trying to be something else. That's actually, I think, what I kind of like is, I'm not trying to be kind of hipster, I liked it before it was cool shit. I'm actually just interested in playing something that I've not seen before. And I think this was probably one of them. This had a real amusing feel to it. And it was actually quite engaging. It's one of, again, if a game... here's a test for you, in fact. A game's good when you start playing, and then you look at your watch again, and what you think has been 10 minutes has been an hour. That's a good game. And you get that from time to time. And when you do, you should really kind of invest your time in it, because it means that you're actually being entertained. Don't go crazy, obviously. Don't go and, don't forget to bathe, and don't forget to eat, because that would be stupid. But I think there's a lot of that out there. So anyway, here we go. He escaped... I guess into the out of the frying pan into the fire, kind of, because he's ended up now with basically a bunch of rednecks hanging dudes. Actually, I don't think they are rednecks. This is in Canada, so these would be like, I guess, inverse rednecks. These would be like blue necks, because it's cold up there. Anyway, basically, yeah, this is obviously not good. They're hanging the infected to prove a point, and this is again very true of all of the apocalyptic nonsense that would go on, is that the most dangerous thing out there would not be the zombies, quote, infected, quote, whatever. It would actually be the other buggers trying to survive, because, human beings can be fucking desperate and awful and evil when survival is of paramount importance. And yeah, this is when it all starts to go a bit Pete Tong, as we would say in the UK. That's a Cockney rhyme stand for wrong. And you can see these guys hightail it, and I think that's where we'll cut for part 1. Let me know if you like this. I think it's an interesting game, and I think if enough people are interested in it, we'll carry on and we'll keep playing it. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.